Run, bitch! Run!
I think it's very safe to say that in this day and age, Edgar Wright is one of the great directors. Like, you can't deny it. I mean, look at his resume. We got Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, The World's End, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Baby Driver. Oh my god. It's beautiful. There's no other director working now who I can safely say has shaped the entire filmscape of a single country. I mean, as a Brit, I'd be lying if I didn't say my entire sensibilities, my humour, my style, my music choices wasn't influenced by Edgar Wright's movies. I don't think I quote any other movie more than Hot Fuzz. I think that movie is embedded into my mind.
I don't know. Pub?
Want an angle? Nobody tells me nothing.
Any opportunity to quote Hot Fuzz, I'm there. It's practically my second language at this point. I don't even have to think about it and I just do it. It's insane. I love it. And that's what you're expecting from an Edgar Wright movie. You're expecting witty dialogue, energetic editing, and a brilliant soundtrack, and just 10 out of 10 movie making skills. It's brilliant, and you're always safe coming to an Edgar Wright movie. Unless it's... You don't have to even hear from me to realise that The Running Man kinda fell short at the box office and the reviews. I mean, the reviews weren't bad, but they're not great, are they? From a man who makes gold every time. What happened here, dude? What are you doing, man? What are you doing, Edgar? You're skipping a day? After coming out of the cinema of watching The Running Man, I was perplexed as to why I didn't like it, because it should have all the things I like. It's Stephen King, it's a dystopian future, I love my death games, the cast is great, the film looks really nice, but why is it not landing like all his other movies? And I believe I've summed it up in one crucial point. This movie lacks that Edgar Wright spice. That sweet sauciness that you see in every one of his projects. It's practically dripping in every one of his movies, except The Running Man. For example, this one take. And it's impressive, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't feel complete. It feels like the one ends when it wasn't meant to. I know when I was watching it, I thought, oh yeah, they're going to run throughout the entire apartment complex, you know, going up the stairs and then stopping there and then having to run back down and then doing this and doing that, dipping and diving, going into different rooms, bumping into civilians and dodging over them who were ratting them out. I thought it was going to be like a whole action sequence, but instead it was just, oh, run down the corridor and take a little slide and that's it. And I think that's just one of many instances where this movie lacked the sauce that it needed to stand out in the crowd in this day and age. In a landscape dominated with dull, boring, basic-ass action movies, you'd think that Edgar Wright, the king of editorial comedy...
What?
I don't believe this.
would do this right. And yet I felt so empty coming out of it. It's so disappointing, man. It's filmed like a very typical action film is what I'm trying to say. And Edgar Wright has shown us in the past again and again and again that he's not here to make generic action schlock. He makes stuff with character and pizzazz, and I'm not saying that's all you need for a good movie. Of course you need a good story, good characters, and all that crap. But this guy is known for his editorial prowess and his way to engage an audience in every single scene. And I'm gonna tell you, when I got to the later half of this movie, I was bored as fuck. Let's look at another scene. Let's step away from the action stuff because I think I've kind of ranted on about that long enough. Let's talk about the lack of tone as well. Because sure, a lot of Edgar Wright movies are quite silly. However, we've seen in films like The World's End, Shaun of the Dead, that he can have a very dark and somber tone about him. And where this movie lacked in comedy, it could have really made up in its serious, dark, and honestly, bleak tone. For example, when the first of the 3 contestants being sent out gets murdered, it's played off as a joke. The camera zooms in onto his face, and we see a guy come up behind him, and he says, "Ah, crumbs," and gets shot in the back of the head and dies. I'm sorry. Are we not meant to be taking this seriously? Are we not meant to be fearing for our lives? Should we not fear for the characters? Are they not? If they're not taking it seriously, why should we? Because this could be an incredibly fucked up and dark story, and yet they're not taking it seriously. He's seconds away from dying, and he's all like, "Oh, fiddlesticks!" Like, hello, you're about to get shot, dude. Come on. Take it at least a little bit seriously. I mean, shall we compare this to the other Stephen King dystopian game show future film that came out last year?
You boys are the answer.
This movie nailed the tone. It nailed the tension. It nailed everything. And I would highly recommend that anyone who is a fan of these kind of dystopian futures where everything's shitty and we're all cogs and playthings and pigs to the slaughter, that kind of Squid Game shit, watch The Long Walk. It is what I was hoping The Running Man was going to be more like. Of course, that's not to say you can have a silly, fun, goofy action film, but when characters die and it's meant to affect the protagonist, it should affect the protagonist. Instead, I feel nothing because they feel nothing because they don't give a shit. So why should I? How much more dramatic would that scene be if he gets caught and you see him realize he's been caught, even try to run away for a second, but then gets shot in the back of the leg or something, he's crawling away, or like, oh, and then he gets shot again in the head really brutally in the street. There's no glam behind it, there's no glamour, there's no showmanship. However, with all these like editing things on top of it, from the game show, from the studio, making it look like, haha, isn't this the guy? He lost, haha. While in reality, it's a man getting shot down in the street. And that's it. The brutality of it would hit so much more than the, oh, dang it. And so going back to Edgar Wright's signature pizzazzy style, wouldn't it be such a great juxtaposition when we watch the movie and it's filled with Edgar Wright's famous quick cuts and pan zooms and to match with the game show like environment, and then when someone does get killed, it's played straight and it's down to earth, and you see the actual reactions of our protagonist go, oh shit. Wouldn't that be cool? Wouldn't that be so much more interesting than just, I guess I better run now, and here's a little action scene in a hotel, and I get out and that's it, and then I go meet this guy, he's got a super soaker, haha, isn't that wacky? Actually, now that I'm on the subject, that scene with Michael Cera where it turns into a kind of R-rated Home Alone, that's when I felt the, oh my god, it's a movie. Oh, it's an Edgar Wright movie. Oh my god, I'm actually giving a crap. And then that's it. And then that's the end of that sequence. And it almost makes me feel like, did Edgar... Look at me calling him by his first name like I fucking know him. Did Edgar Wright sign on to do this movie because of that one sequence? Because he wanted to do something like this? What if he had this whole idea of doing essentially an R-rated Home Alone? But the studio wouldn't allow it because, you can't do that because Home Alone is for families. And so he went, okay, well, I can see you got this Running Man script that's underneath your desk that's been propping up your chairs. How about I use that and make a movie out of it? And they're like, yeah, sure. And they give him the wet coffee stained script over to Edgar, and then he quickly writes in the scene of this cool Home Alone sequence. I just feel like no other moment in this movie really sticks out to me. I'm trying to think right now, like, what were there any other scenes outside of that brief oneer, the home invasion bit? I mean, then you have this weird scene of a woman being hijacked, and then you realize that, oh, she's a main character now, I guess, in the third act? Okay, yeah, why not? Throw in a new character, fuck it. Who gives a shit? The main worry I have after coming out of this movie is, has Edgar Wright lost his youthful energy that his previous projects had? That kind of incredible creativity with editing, sound, music, character interactions, and just, it's so disappointing. It really is. And I wouldn't be surprised if it turned out that the studio had a lot more meddling with this project and wanted to rein Edgar Wright in from his usual style that gives his movies so much personality, uniqueness, and brilliance. Apparently, Edgar Wright and Simon Pegg have talked about doing a new film together. Not connected to the Cornetto trilogy, but its own new thing. And honestly, I'm excited. I want to see what these two powerhouses can do together. And whenever they're working together, it's pure gold every single time. Or it could just be a bigger load of shit, nothing matters, and we're all going to die someday. Bye!